the Uktena, the horned serpent of Cherokee mythology. In the deep rivers and shadowed mountain passes of Cherokee country, there lived a creature so dangerous that even looking upon it could destroy your family. It was called the Uktena. The Uktena was a massive serpent, as thick around as the trunk of a tree. Horns rose from its head, and its scales glittered like sparks from a fire. Colored rings stretched down the length of its enormous body. Some stories even describe it with wings. But the most extraordinary feature of the Uktena was the blazing crystal embedded in its forehead. This crystal was known as the Ulunsuti, a name associated with transparency. It shone with an unnatural light, beautiful enough to capture the attention of anyone who saw it, and dangerous enough to lead that person directly to their death. According to Cherokee tradition, the story of the Uktena began when the sun became angry with the people of the earth. The sun sent sickness among them, and the people suffered. In response, powerful supernatural beings known as the Little Men transformed a man into a monstrous serpent and sent him to destroy the sun. That serpent was the first Uktena. But the Uktena failed in its mission, and a rattlesnake was sent instead. Enraged by its failure and replacement, the Uktena became so dangerous that the people feared it would turn its power against them. The creature was eventually removed to another realm, where dangerous supernatural forces could be kept apart from human beings. But the original Uktena was not the end of the story. Other creatures like it remained behind. They settled in deep pools beneath the surfaces of rivers. They hid in lonely mountain passes, far from ordinary settlements. They waited in places where the familiar world seemed to give way to something older, darker, and more mysterious. These were the places where the Uktena stayed. The serpent was difficult to kill. Its heart was hidden beneath the seventh colored spot behind its head, and only a strike to that precise location could bring it down. But getting close enough to attempt such a strike was another matter. The crystal in its forehead produced a light so powerful that anyone caught in its glow could become confused and disoriented. Instead of running away, a person might find themselves moving toward the creature, helplessly drawn closer to the very thing that would destroy them. The serpent's blood and venom were also deadly. Even its presence could bring consequences beyond the person who encountered it. According to one tradition, anyone who saw the Uktena sleeping might survive, only for death to fall upon someone in their family. Yet people still searched for the creature. They searched because the crystal in its forehead offered extraordinary power. Anyone who possessed the Ulunsuti could gain success in hunting, influence in matters of love, and the ability to bring rain. The crystal was also associated with supernatural knowledge and the power to see what had not yet happened. By looking into the stone, its owner could learn whether a sick person would recover, whether a warrior would return from battle, or whether a young person would live to see old age. The Ulunsuti could reveal the future, but claiming it meant facing the Uktena, and almost everyone who attempted that challenge failed. One of the best-known stories tells of a medicine man named Aganunitsi. Aganunitsi was not originally Cherokee. He was a Shawnee man captured during a conflict between the two peoples. Facing death, he made an extraordinary offer. If the Cherokee spared his life, he promised to find the Uktena and bring back the powerful crystal from its forehead. The people warned him that encountering the serpent meant almost certain death. Aganunitsi answered that his medicine was strong and that he was not afraid. So they allowed him to begin his search. He traveled through the mountains, passing from one isolated place to another. In one mountain gap, he found an enormous black snake, larger than any ordinary serpent. But it was not the Uktena. In another place, he discovered a giant water moccasin. But that was not the creature he sought. He encountered a massive green snake, a terrifying lizard, and a huge frog that frightened everyone who saw it. Aganunitsi dismissed them all. He searched secluded waters and mysterious mountain passes. He ventured into places where others refused to go. Finally, on a mountainside, he found the Uktena asleep. Aganunitsi understood that shooting the creature would not be enough. Even if he struck its heart, the dying serpent could still destroy him with its poison and blood. so he quietly retreated down the mountain and prepared a trap. He gathered pine cones and arranged them in a large circle. Inside the circle, he dug a trench deep enough to catch anything flowing down the slope. Then he set the pine cones on fire. With his defensive circle burning below, Aganunitsi returned to the sleeping serpent. He raised his bow. He aimed at the seventh spot behind the creature's head, and he released his arrow. The arrow struck the Uktena directly in its hidden heart. The serpent lifted its horned head, and the crystal in its forehead flashed with furious light. Then it charged. Aganunitsi turned and ran down the mountain as fast as he could. Behind him, the wounded serpent tore through the forest, its enormous body crashing against the trees. Aganunitsi reached the burning circle and leaped across the fire and the trench. The Uktena followed, but its strength was already failing. As the creature collapsed, it spat poison across the mountainside. The flames stopped the venom from reaching the medicine man. Blood poured from the serpent's wound and rushed downhill. The trench caught the poisonous stream before it could touch him, but one small drop of venom landed on Aganunitsi's head. He did not notice. The dying Uktena rolled down the mountain, smashing trees and tearing through the earth until it finally came to rest below. Aganunitsi then called the birds of the forest to gather around the dead serpent. They came in great numbers. They consumed the creature until nothing remained. 7 days later, Aganunitsi returned to the mountainside under the cover of darkness. The serpent's body was gone. Its bones were gone. But somewhere in the darkness, a strange light continued to shine. A raven had carried the crystal from the serpent's forehead and dropped it onto a low-hanging branch. Aganunitsi recovered the Ulunsuti, wrapped it carefully, and carried it back to the people. From that day forward, he became known as a powerful medicine man. But the encounter had changed him in a way he did not understand. When he returned, people noticed something hanging from his head. It was a small snake. The single drop of poison that touched him during his battle with the Uktena had left a living reminder of the creature behind. Everyone else could see it. Aganunitsi never knew it was there. The story does not end with the recovery of the crystal. The Ulunsuti was powerful, but it was also dangerous. Its keeper had to wrap it in deerskin and hide it inside an earthen container, deep within a secret mountain cave. Every 7 days, the stone had to be fed with the blood of a small animal. Twice a year, it required the blood of a larger animal such as a deer. If the keeper failed to feed it, the crystal could emerge from its hiding place in the form of fire. It would fly through the darkness in search of blood, and the blood it demanded might belong to its owner or someone close to him. Even the person entrusted with the crystal feared it. The keeper would sometimes move it from one hiding place to another, worried that the stone might learn how to escape. When its owner died, the crystal was supposed to be buried with him. If it was not, the Ulunsuti might leave its hiding place and search for his grave night after night for 7 years. Only after failing to find him would it finally return to rest. Another Cherokee story places the Uktena against a pair of enormous supernatural hawks known as the Tlanua. These giant birds lived in a cave high on the side of a cliff and sometimes attacked nearby settlements. A medicine man climbed down to their nest and threw their young into the river below. The Uktena rose from the water and devoured them. When the great hawks returned and discovered what had happened, they searched the river until the horned serpent appeared. Then they attacked. One hawk seized the Uktena in its talons and lifted it into the sky. The other tore the serpent apart. Together, the birds carried what remained higher and higher until they disappeared from sight. In this story, the Uktena represents the dangerous forces associated with deep water and the world below, while the great hawks represent the power of the sky above. The battle between them turns the natural landscape into a meeting place for opposing supernatural forces. But whether the Uktena appears as a monster beneath the river, a failed weapon created to challenge the sun, or the guardian of a bloodthirsty crystal, the same question follows it. What happens when the power you seek demands more than you expected to give? The Ulunsuti promises knowledge, protection, and influence. But it also demands blood. It threatens the people closest to its owner, and even the hero, who survives the serpent, carries part of the monster away with him. The story of the Uktena is not simply about defeating a dangerous creature. It is about the cost of power, the danger of forbidden knowledge, and the possibility that the thing you believe you control may, in the end, control you.